boys of common virtue, called to duty, brothers and sons, friends and neighbors, and fathers. It's as simple as that. Hello. In James Bradley's book, Flags of Our Fathers, he describes the preparation and assault of Iwo Jima. This book is focused on the event when 6 servicemen raised a flag on top of Mount Suribachi. James Bradley wrote his book to tell the tale of those 6 men. After describing the boys and their backgrounds, Bradley writes about their training in Camp Pendleton and then on to Camp Tarawa before they shipped out to Iwo Jima. The Marines were granted one final leave in Hawaii. Bradley goes on to describe the task of the company that all 6 of the flag raisers are in. Easy Company was commanded to take the high point of the island. Mount Suribachi needed to be cut off from the rest of the island for the Americans to win the battle. The book describes the day of the invasion and 3 days after that. Many acts of bravery and heroism are told in these chapters, including the one of the youngest recipient of the Medal of Honor, Jack H. Lucas. On the 4th day of the invasion, a 40-man patrol was sent up the alleged cleared mountain. None of the 40 or their superiors thought that they would survive the day. Surprisingly, not a shot was fired. When the patrol reached the top, they declared that an American flag should be raised. As the flag was raised, American cheers could be heard all over the island. Later during that day, the command was made to replace the flag with a much bigger one. The second raising, which was documented by Joe Rosenthal, had little effect on the Marines below at the time. But it was during this raising that the most celebrated and iconic photograph in American war history was taken. This book explores and establishes that the identities of the 6 flag raisers that become national heroes that day.
John Doc Bradley, the only Navy serviceman of the 6 flag raisers, grew up in a rural area of Appleton, Wisconsin, where he grew up wanting to be a funeral parlor. He enlisted in the Navy at the age of 19 and worked in hospitals, but was then assigned to the Marines as a corpsman. During the Battle of Iwo Jima, Doc was awarded the Navy Cross and a Purple Heart for his bravery. He honorably discharged after suffering shrapnel wounds in his legs. He died in 1994 at the age of 70.
Ira Hayes was born a Pima Native American in Arizona. He was always a quiet and reserved person growing up, and nobody expected his action of joining the Marines in 1942 at the age of 19. Before his campaign on Iwo Jima, Ira took part in the Battle of Vaya Gulf and also Bougainville. When he made it back to the U.S. after the Battle of Iwo Jima, he became an alcoholic and eventually died in 1955 from alcohol poisoning.
Rennie Gagnon was born in New Hampshire and grew up mostly with his mother. He even went to work with her in a shoe factory, but joined the Marines at the age of 18 for its glorification. While in the Marines, Rennie took up the job of being a runner and made it through the Battle of Iwo Jima soundly. He later died in New Hampshire in 1979.
Mike Schrenk immigrated to the U.S. from Czechoslovakia when he was a young boy and lived near a steel mill in Pennsylvania. He was often left responsible with his younger siblings while growing up. These prior experiences allowed him to become a Marines Marine and also an amazing sergeant. After 10 days of service on Iwo Jima, Mike Schrenk was killed in action from friendly artillery fire. Harlan Block was seen as the good old boy of the flag raisers on Iwo Jima. Growing up as a Seventh-day Adventist in Texas, Harlan was sheltered by his mother. He gained some freedom from her when he started at a public school and led the football team to a conference championship. When he graduated from high school, he and 12 of his teammates decided to join the Marines. When on Iwo Jima, Harlan became second in command to his sergeant Mike Schrenk and was killed in action only a few hours after Mike. Franklin Sousley was born in Kentucky, where he worked on tobacco farms and became the man of his family at age 9 when his father and older brother died. Then, after graduating high school, he started working in a factory. But at the age of 17, he decided to enlist in the Marines. During the Battle of Iwo Jima, he was awarded a Purple Heart
but was killed by a Japanese sniper while walking down a road.
Okay. World War II, Pacific Theater. We're in the Pacific Ocean, 1945. America has gained control of Saipan and looking to invade Iwo Jima. And Iwo Jima is an island in the Pacific, and it means Sulphur Island in Japanese. And that is mainly at fault of Mount Suribachi, which is responsible for creating the whole island and of the sulfur smelt from the ash when it erupts. It is important to Japanese heritage because it is actually Japanese soil. Iwo Jima is important to both sides because it contains two airfields, Airfield 1, Airfield 2. Now, it is especially crucial for America to attain these two airfields on the island in order to bomb Japan, because it is smack dab in the middle between American-controlled Saipan and Japan. And it is crucial for planes that are damaged from Tokyo raids to land midway instead of traveling the 1,200 miles to Saipan. There was only one spot to land on the beaches because most of the island was rock outcropping, and so here they had 5 units that assaulted the sandy beaches. The Japanese defensive positions were mainly located on Mount Suribachi to overlook their enemy, and then others were scattered around the island. Now they had fortifications from artillery and pillboxes, and inside Mount Suribachi itself and throughout the island there were tunnels and many more fortifications underground. The Americans' plan for taking over the island was to separate Mount Suribachi from the rest of the island. Therefore, they supposedly cut the head off the serpent and would divide Japanese forces. It was the sulfur, or the ash erupted from Mount Suribachi, and the sand made it difficult for Marines to dig in and fight. And overall, the conflict lasted 36 days.